Tonight, twiddling the dials and antennas at Broken Hill's new 4G tower. And Port Augusta's new mayor shines at the council's swearing-in ceremony.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Staying connected in Broken Hill is about to be easier, with Telstra's new mobile base station under construction in the city centre. The 4G tower will boost the telco's coverage and is the 4th of its kind to be built.
Here to launch the Silver City's new phone tower, connecting residents and businesses from near and far.
It'll be providing much improved services to the northwest of Broken Hill and for both businesses and residential. So certainly, an additional investment in Broken Hill and making sure that it continue to grow.
Built up on Rocky Hill, it was a logistical move to make sure the northwest part of the city had adequate coverage for the first time.
To provide better coverage right through and also new coverage. So we've got 3 existing towers. So this will be 4 towers in Broken Hill.
There is also set to be better coverage on the highway between Broken Hill and Wilcannia, as well as the Silver City Highway.
We also have 2 sites coming in the Silver City Highway, which will then provide much needed coverage down that strip as well. And that was through the Regional Connectivity Program, which again was a co-investment program with the federal government.
The company will also be decommissioning the 3G network, with no 3G antennas added to the new site. This won't happen until June 2024, and no 3G networks will be shut down before that date.
Importantly, anyone who still has a 3G device has had a good lifespan out of it. We would certainly encourage them to look at new options for their technology and review what they have.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A 38-year-old BMW driver fronted court in Port Augusta today after crashing his car into the curb in the early hours of this morning. Officers allegedly clocked the man driving at 183 kilometres an hour in a 110 zone along the Augusta Highway. Despite spiking the tyres twice, the car just kept going before finally crashing at the intersection of Victoria and Carlton Parades around 1 a.m. Police will allege the Western Australian man initially fled the scene, but they caught up with him a short time later. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. Lindley Shine has been officially sworn in as Mayor of Port Augusta. She says she'll hit the ground running ahead of her first council meeting next month, as public expectations of the new council are high.
The months of campaigning has paid off for Lindley Shine as she was formally sworn in as the city's mayor by council CEO John Banks. In her footsteps were her fellow councillors, with some familiar and new faces beginning their 4-year terms with a swearing-in statement, a signature and a handshake.
We've got some amazing elected members and I certainly look forward to working with them. We as a council will go ahead and do our absolute best for our community, our beautiful community, Port Augusta, and certainly look forward to getting in and starting as soon as we possibly can.
The new mayor's family attended in person and online, including the so-called First Gentleman of Port Augusta.
I can only hope it's worthwhile in the end, Daniel. I am very, very proud of her and she has worked hard to get to where she's got. I hope she makes a difference for the town.
The new council will first meet on December 13th and the public is encouraged to attend. It's also where the new deputy mayor will be elected. The new mayor will go on leave in early January with the deputy in charge.
My husband and I chose to go to New Zealand for a 2-week holiday. From the 1st of January we fly out until about the 15th of January. So I'll certainly apply for leave during that particular time. But again, I don't see that as a huge issue. That is why we have a deputy mayor.
Settling in for a new term will take several weeks, but the voters have demanded change and the new council needs to show they can keep their commitments made during the campaign, as the public have long memories. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
It's the end of an era for Port Pirie council worker Diane Crocker after 54 years of employment with council. She's reflected on her many roles, having worked in most departments, and shares her fondest memories.
Diane got the job at the Corporation of Port Pirie back in 1968 and has seen 2 amalgamations since then.
And have worked with some great staff, mayors, CEOs. Yeah, I used to say I could write a book, but I think I'm up to encyclopedia.
Diane has made a huge contribution to council in her time and has undertaken many roles such as secretary to the town clerk, stenographer and records officer. But her favourite thing about working in council was organising entertainment for the town. When asked of her fondest memory while working at council, Diane says she remembers helping to plan a New Year's Eve event in the mid-1970s, which saw Ellen Street closed off for a massive street party.
Everyone moved from hotel to hotel and there was bands, stalls, and it was a really great night. And we had the Little River Band, which was fantastic. It was before they became, well known.
In her retirement, Diane looks forward to travelling as she hasn't been able to the last few years.
I've got family in New Zealand, so I'm going over there in March, and Tamworth in January for the music festival.
Diane says she will still work closely with the community. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It looks like even the sky isn't the limit for Whyala's Hannah Ewings, with the footballer winning big last night at the AFLW Awards. As a key part of Port Adelaide's inaugural season, the footballer is certainly doing her hometown of Whyalla proud.
Port Adelaide's young gun Hannah Ewings has been named the NAB AFLW Rising Star of Season 7.
Yes, I'm very honoured and privileged to be up here receiving this award. There's a lot of great women, young women out here that really truly deserve to be up here, so to be recognised by everyone out here, it's just a great feeling.
Ewings was this season's draft pick number 3, the first selection in South Australia, and it's no wonder as to why. In her debut season, she became the first player in AFLW history to register 3 or more goals and 9 or more clearances in a single game. Reflecting on her breakout season, Ewings took the time to thank both her team in Port Adelaide and of course her team back in Whyalla, her ever-supportive family.
My family back home in Whyalla watching, thank you for your support. I really wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you for sticking by me.
The star returning to Whyalla just days ago to visit several schools and promote healthy living.
It's been an amazing opportunity for me to come back home and deliver these programs to the community and give back to what they've given to me. So to have that support around me being back home, it's just an amazing feeling.
Ewing says there's an incredible amount of talent in regional South Australia and growing opportunities to showcase it.
These younger girls developing as a person, as a player, and to have that opportunity now for women to show them what they're really made of.
And who knows, maybe one of these students will follow in the footsteps of the rising star, who through hard work and determination has turned her childhood fantasy into a reality.
Just a dream come true. I've been dreaming it since I was 5 years old.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, the regional women banding together to create meaningful change over dinner. And learning life-saving skills, Spencer Golf school students take part in the annual Swim Safer Week. Welcome back. Clare locals are growing a regional women in business networking group called Rural Business Chicks. The aim of the group is to connect, chat and brainstorm through monthly meetups.
Rural Business Chicks agree 2 heads are better than 1 and are passionate about women achieving their business goals.
It's just to allow rural business women of all kinds, or people who want to go into business or managers of business who are keen to network and learn a little bit of this and that.
Members are encouraged to step out of their comfort zone by choosing a topic of interest each month.
So every month we have one of our group puts their hand up, or they get a little bit of a push, to lead the group in a group discussion. So they pick a topic.
Topics that have been discussed include imposter syndrome and how to manage it, as well as keeping up to date with technology and the many opportunities it provides. Imposter syndrome refers to persistent feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence despite being aptly qualified. Nan says sometimes all members need is that little push to make their business a reality.
She came to one of our gatherings and was so enthused that when she went home, she registered a business name for her own small cottage industry that she was thinking about starting, and then it just gave her enough of a push to get the whole business going.
To join the group, look up Rural Business Chicks on Facebook. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
This year's Swim Safer Week is diving straight into the deep end, aiming to help up-and-coming swimmers feel more confident in the water. The initiative hopes to encourage parents to educate themselves about learning to swim and to prevent future drownings.
On the land surrounded by some of the world's best beaches, recreational swimming has become a part of Australian culture. However, recent reports from this year's Swim Safer Week suggest not enough Aussie kids are enrolled in swimming lessons.
Parents already confirm our fears, with 56% of parents saying that they're not confident that their children could survive in a water emergency. And what's even scarier is 35% of parents said that they didn't believe they could help someone in the water who was in trouble.
Drownings are up 15% compared to last year. Now, Swim Safer Week is aiming to spread awareness and teach the next generation of swimmers.
The Swim Safer report nationally shows now that 43% of our children are not currently enrolled in swimming lessons, which going into summer is a large concern.
More than a quarter of parents believe swimming lessons are too expensive. However, the Swim It Forward initiative looks to help those families in need.
And so, obviously, just $20 is all it takes. And the more we can give people swimming lessons, the more we can reduce the drowning toll, the more people will enjoy the water.
But it's not just aimed at young kids. Swim safety is for the entire family.
We want the parents and the kids involved. If we can have some parent and safety talks beforehand, I think when we learn together as a family and as a community, the awareness grows. It's like word of mouth.
For more information, you can visit www.swimsafer.org.au. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Fire and Rescue New South Wales on the lookout for more women to join their ranks. And time's running out to get your nominations in for Whyala's most impressive citizens. Broken Hill Fire and Rescue is holding an open day this weekend. Instead of holding it at one of the stations in the city, it will be held at Town Square this Saturday, with people asked to come along and ask questions about becoming a firefighter. The day is also a recruitment drive for more on-call female firefighters. In the past, Broken Hill has had a high number of women working at both stations. Members and officers attached to New South Wales Fire and Rescue will be at Town Square between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Time is running out to get your nominations in for the 2023 Whyala Citizen of the Year. To be presented on January 26, the City Council says the awards are the perfect way to recognise valued members of the community and what they've achieved so far this year.
Taking 5 minutes to nominate might just make someone's year. The Whyala Council says the city's annual Citizen of the Year award is the perfect way to recognise some of the hardest workers in our community.
Just about everybody I can recall over the years has been somebody that has just done something for the community quietly, and to win the award has been absolutely over the top for them.
This year, residents can be nominated in one of 4 categories: Citizen, Young Citizen, Senior Citizen and the Community Service Award, and nominees can come from all walks of life.
Whyala is so rich in volunteers, charities, service clubs, sporting groups.
Nomination forms are available on the Council's website, but can also be picked up from the Whyala Public Library and the Civic Building on Darling Terrace, with the forms only requiring you to write 500 words about your nominee.
They are very simple. Many people every year after the awards are announced, we should have nominated so-and-so. We know these people.
The council says it's important that residents take the time to point out people whose achievements deserve to be celebrated.
So please, deadline is next Wednesday, 30th of November, end of the month. Get a nomination in and make sure we do recognise some fantastic people in our community.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta Police handed over thousands of dollars in fundraising from this year's charity golf match, the first since the pandemic. Almost $6,000 was split between the Lions Club and the Salvation Army, with the cheques handed over this week.
Yeah, it was a great day. A little bit down on numbers. We had 52 players, but it was great to get the golf day back up and running after a 2-year break due to COVID.
The money is going to local projects such as new toilet facilities and resources for the local community. Stay with us after the break. Our reporter Henry Millig has this week's fuel report out of Port Lincoln. And Friday's looking like a pearler. We'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. Prices remain steady at the pumps in this week's fuel report, with many outlets across the region budging ever so slightly. Motorists can still expect to fork out above average prices for fuel as we head into the holiday season. Here's Henry Millig.
Well, not a lot has changed this week, with the price of fuel continuing to hold its value across the region. Looking at the price of unleaded, and as you can see, there hasn't been a whole lot of changes. Port Lincoln has jumped up by a cent, while Whyalla and Broken Hill have come down ever so slightly, all paying around the $1.92 mark. Kadina pumps dropping by 2 cents, now charging motorists $1.86 a litre, the cheapest in the region. The pinch has been relieved for those living in Adelaide, paying $1.78 a litre. Moving on to the price of diesel now. And don't be fooled by the green sea of arrows this week, as prices have only dropped by a few cents. Nonetheless, the pumps in Port Pirie coming down the most by 4 cents, now paying $2.33 a litre. Kadina once again proving to be the fuel goldmine, offering the cheapest fuel at $2.29 a litre. Whyalla and Port Augusta pumps both dropping by a cent, sitting around the $2.30 range. If you want to save some money, try to avoid fueling up in the Silver City at Broken Hill, with the township serving up the most expensive diesel at $2.41 a litre. Adelaide motorists will be pleased this week with a 5 cent decrease, seeing the average price of diesel drop to $2.20 a litre. Last but not least, there has been minimal movement on the LPG prices across the region, besides Adelaide coming down less than $1. The story remains the same in Port Lincoln, charging the most for LPG at $1.26. Well, that's it for this week's Fuel Watch. With more people hitting the roads, let's hope for better prices at the pumps next week.
Thanks, Henry. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, how was Wednesday?
It was a mostly sunny day across the Spencer Gulf. Clear conditions with a spot of rain in Snowtown. Less than a millimetre was recorded in the gauges around 11 a.m, but the showers didn't hang around. Temperature-wise, 25 degrees in Port Augusta this afternoon. Port Lincoln reached 18 just after 3:30. 24 was the top in Broken Hill. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, Cooper Pedy, our warmest centre, 28 degrees, 25 in Woodner, 23 degrees in Port Pirie, 21 in Kadina, 20 degrees in Whyalla. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a high pressure system west of Kangaroo Island is moving slowly eastwards and is expected to be near Mount Gambier tomorrow before weakening. Winds will become warmer and tend northerly tomorrow and Friday ahead of another cooler southwesterly change. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. East to southeasterly winds about 10 knots, becoming southwest to southeasterly 10 to 15 knots in the afternoon, then southeast to easterly in the evening. Seas below a metre and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. Sunny in the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow, 22 degrees in Port Lincoln. Blue skies in Cleve, set to reach a high of 26 degrees there. Woodner heading for a warm top of 32 on Thursday. Sunny and 26 in Whyalla tomorrow. Port Augusta will crack the 30s with sunny conditions. Mostly sunny in Kadina, 25 degrees. Mostly sunny and 28 degrees in Port Pirie, 24 the top in Clare, and sunny and 28 degrees in Broken Hill, down to 11 overnight. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Friday's forecast, Woodna will be the warmest centre, sunny and 38 degrees. Next warmest is Port Augusta, 37. Cooper Pedy heading for a top of 36, Wale and Port Pirie both heading for a top of 34. Port Lincoln the only centre on our map that won't crack the 30s. Turning to Saturday's outlook now, and there's a big change compared to Friday. Possible storms in Port Augusta and Broken Hill, 32 and 35 degrees. Muggy conditions in Whyalla and Woodna as well. Possible showers and 30 degrees. 27 in Kadina and Adelaide. And finally, taking a quick look at the outlook for Sunday, rain clearing around the Flinders Ranges and above. Partly cloudy and 25 degrees in Port Augusta, sunny in Broken Hill, 28, partly cloudy and 22 in Whyalla and Kadina, possible showers in Port Lincoln, 21 degrees. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.